Hey guys, number one Marmaduke fan here. I had things come from a couple different people, so they're two different projects. I thought they were the same at first because they came at the same time. So I got my trading cards from Raven Monroe, the creator of Machi, the Lazy Witch, and I guess kind of the theme of this video is always look at what people are doing for ideas. So look at this. She put it in the trading card in a nice kind of like Pokemon trading card game sleeve for me. I just noticed that. And she did kind of like a nice construction paper folded over and a nice little ornate sticker thing to hold it together. So that was really sweet. I honestly forgot whether I backed the physical or just the digital edition of Machi, the Lazy Witch. I remember hearing the name Machi, the Lazy Witch, and saying, that's good. I can tell just from the title that the main character has a character flaw, and the art style is cute, so I'm going to back it. It's also like a good example of like, I'm poor, so if you give me a cheaper digital option, I'm much more likely to back something. I'm maybe even likely to back it twice. Like if I'm rich enough, I want to buy the physical edition and get the digital edition, then I'll buy it twice to give you more money. But at a minimum, if you give me the digital option, I usually hop in and it's pure profit for you. So to all of my comic Twitter bros who are like still like not wanting to dip your toe into the water on digital, just for me, it's usually a guaranteed sale for me if you offer me the digital option. So the second book I got is Saving the World and Saving the Universe by TonicMole, and he also has several guest artists for some of the side stories and some bonus illustrations. So one thing I learned from TonicMole is he priced it really nicely to upsell me. So I decided to go for the one with the original piece of art because it was a really decent, I think it was like $25 to get both books and an original piece of art. I said, you know what? If some people charge $25 just for the base book, I'll pay $25 to get the original piece of art. So he shipped it in just a 3-hole punch sleeve folded over. That's a smart idea. Give it some water protection. That's a clever idea. I like how economical that is while giving it some protection. There is a print by the artist for Rag Zombie, Luigi Teruel. That's really sweet, and just the two of them together. Like you always see the Team Rags team checking out other indie comics. They're really cool. Go check them out. Okay, so the theme of that is be cool, hang out with people, talk with people, promote other comics. Don't be a weirdo who's yelling all the time. I didn't catch this artist. I'm not sure if this is TonicMole style or someone else's style, so I wasn't sure about that one. And TonicMole discusses this, but there is a sort of tone shift between Saving the World and Saving the Universe, where Saving the World is a little bit more upbeat, and Saving the Universe has a bit more of a darker element of the same emerging universe and the building plot. So some bad stuff's going to go down, and we're going to need some superheroes. Cover art by Illustrator Monk. Really good choice for Illustrator Monk. There's another Illustrator Monk at the back of this one, come to think of it. Let me flip to that. Yeah, Illustrator Monk, right. So definitely going for like the waifu power potential there with Illustrator Monk. Really good choice. And then the back cover is by Ryan Faust, who I had never seen before. So Sashi has a nice little illustration towards the back of this. I don't think it was credited, though. Let me find the Sashi illustration. There's the Sashi illustration. Right, and we'll talk about Saving the Universe in a bit. So what I really love about TonicMole is I think he's got a really good business sense, right? So he's getting some commissions. He is sort of like he's picking a cover image which sort of like sells you on the appeal of the character, a little sex appeal, but also like a little goofy, and she's messing up and she's not quite sure what she's doing, right? And that's basically what the book delivered on. I do constructive critique on this channel, so he also showed a lot of his art, which is a lot more of an underground indie style. And I love the underground indie dimension of comics. I think this is one of the most important things about comics is that people who are not Norman Rockwell can make good comics, because what makes a good comic is what is different than what makes a polished illustration. That being said, I feel like TonicMole kind of has the Erica Henderson problem, where he is got an element of the realistic superhero style in his style, and he's got an element of cartooniness in his style, and I think these two are fighting each other a bit throughout his drawing style, and I'd like to see him, I don't know, maybe develop that into like pick a lane, maybe like an even wonkier, I don't know where I heard this, but someone said style is just an artist figuring out their own idiosyncrasies and weaknesses, which is why I never want anyone to like throw an artist under the bus just because there's a weakness to their style. I see weakness in a style as always like the potential to develop something interesting, like Matt Groening and the Simpsons characters. They all have these big overhanging lips, right? That's weird, but Matt Groening makes it work because he drew so many comics. He kind of found a way to make these interesting Simpsons people. And now everybody knows the Simpsons because that's become like an iconic thing in our culture. I'd be interested, I don't know, because this is a very undergroundy book, I'd be interested to maybe see it pushed in a even funkier direction, like make the cartoony exaggeration even bigger. That being said, I think it's serviceable. It does the job it needs to do, and he's telling a fun story about a character with a flaw. There's some surprising amount of nudity and swearing in it, so I was expecting kind of like a bit more of a kid-friendly teenage superhero, and it's a bit more of a hard PG-13. I think like they censored the nudity gets censored. The cussing is like it's not F-bombs, but it's like asshole and things like that. So I wouldn't mind seeing it made a little. I generally see superheroes as at least partially for kids. Not that only kids can enjoy them, but it's kind of a genre. I feel like kids especially like colorful superheroes and costumes. You know what? It's fine though. This is underground. It's got its own funky vibe. So you got to write for the audience you want to write for. But I was a little surprised by that aspect of it. So jumping into it, we follow Kiara. And Kiara, what I like about her is she's in her 20-somethings, and I'm not sure exactly what the setting is. I didn't pick that up, but there's kind of a hillbilly aspect to it, like small podunk town. I like the vibe that she's a comic book nerd, but this is actually kind of an antisocial part of her personality. She's not just kawaii fangirl, and she's a fast food worker, and she just kind of feels down and out, and like she's living like this pointless wage cook existence, and then she just suddenly wakes up out of nowhere naked. And I love her internal monologue throughout. I love internal monologue, especially in superhero comics. That's where you do all the narration. That's where you do all the character building. So she admits that she's a very shy and timid person, right? So this is like a horrible nightmare come true to her. And then for no reason at all, she can't really tell why, she's gained super strength. And when she uses her super strength, she looks freakish, and she is aware that she's kind of turning into a freakish looking steroid person. I really like this image, kind of like a simple, tough girl face. And then she has like some common problems, like she wants to go out and be a superhero because she's been a superhero nerd all this time, but she can't find anybody who needs help. And then she'll go see some like white trash having an argument, and she'll try to intervene, but then the girl she thinks she's saving doesn't even want her to intervene, right? So she's like a down and out superhero who's just not finding any success at all. And finally, she gets her chance to be a hero and meets another cool person who also has gained superpowers. So very straightforward superhero story of the down and out superhero finally getting her chance to be a hero, setting up the next adventure where the two of them are going to be working together as a team. There's also a little backstory. Oh, I forgot her name. Nora. So Nora seems to have the superpower of hyperintelligence. So, and like Kiara, she also got zapped into zapped somehow and lost all her clothes. That seems to be the recurring theme. And Nora also has a kind of like human aspect to her where she's not sure what she wants to do with her life. Does she want to go to college? Does she want to go backpacking? She has a boyfriend who kind of nudges her to go to school and fulfill her potential, but she doesn't want him making those decisions for her. She wants to be able to make those decisions. So good. There's a good human aspect to it. Saving the Universe is a bit more of a darker take. So similar universe, different characters. We've got Gypsy. All of them are written by TonicMole. Gypsy has the art by Tony Sizzle. Lily and Wepwawet has art by TonicMole. Stratus has art by Peter Palmiotti. And I kind of like that all three of these guys that TonicMole went with, all of them have a similar funky underground vibe to their style. So there's distinctions. Tony Sizzle, his art has sizzle. I'd say his art has a lot of like nice, like black and white elements to it, good use of shadow, but also kind of has maybe like what makes it underground. I feel like maybe the simplicity of it gives it kind of like this harsh underground feel. And Stratus has a lot of like extra hatching and cross hatching. You kind of even see it in that preview there that gives it almost an old school Jack Kirby look, but he only uses this on the main superhero, and the rest of it has this more simple cartoony style. So it all feels funky, and I kind of like that. They're all distinct, yet they all fit together as like a wonky underground vibe. So what surprised me about, do I want to spoil it? So what surprised me about Gypsy was it felt like it was setting me up for one thing, and then it twisted it around and doesn't say she's a bad guy, but she's definitely a much darker, maybe more God complex character than than Kiara, who's a little bit more of a straightforward superhero girl. We got an interesting little time in what would it be like? Kind of like time in the universe and the fabric of time being manipulated with Lily and Wepwawet. It even seems like he's developing his style between this and this. Like this is a much cleaner style, so maybe TonicMole is going to be going in a much cleaner line work direction. I like that. So good. I'm already seeing some development, and then the last story we get. Kind of the origin story of this big old, rough and tumble looking superhero. I know these are little bits and pieces. I know these are little bits and pieces from a larger universe that's being built up. I still feel like I want a little bit more. A short story, I feel like it has one little punch to it. And then once you get that little punch, the short story is over. From a writing perspective, I would say don't have a starting scene of what would be a TV episode as a short story. Have the short story, give me a little woomph at the end where I kind of get the point, and it may lead into future events, which is clearly what this is doing for issue 2. But I should feel like there's the end at the end of each little short story. That being said, I'm really happy with the bang for my buck. And here's the really smart thing TonicMole did from a business perspective. He got issue 1 done. He got issue 1 sent out really fast, and he is already doing the Kickstarter for issue 2. That is so big brain. Whereas other people are like a year late or 2 years late, in the time that it takes some people to draw a page, he's banged out 1 and he's currently doing issue 2. So that's so smart, because now I'm talking about issue 1 and you can go support issue 2 right now. That's kind of like a censure to me, because I'm really fastidious and I want everything to be beautiful. So I've got to make sure that I have things ready to go so I can keep things clicking once I'm ready to start crowdfunding. So good job, TonicMole. You got a customer. I'm really happy with the on-time delivery. Despite my criticisms, I'm happy with the quality of the book. Very, very good paper. I like underground styles. So if you like underground styles and you're okay kind of seeing some wonky experimental art, I think you'll like what Saving the World is doing, and you can already go and back issue 2 right on the button. So interested to see how this develops. I'm number one Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will link to the campaign for issue 2 in the description below. Catch you later.